All right, my bad. Can you hear me?
Family cruddy. Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Not much. What's happening?
Nothing much. I just wanted to talk about the background. You said Christianity's true,
Mm-hmm.
so
Are
I'm
you?
I'm. Oh, go ahead.
What do you believe?
I don't have a belief in any sort of gods, so whatever you want to call me, it's up to you.
Okay. I almost my first thought was not a good thought, but all right.
Go ahead. You can say it.
No. It
You
wasn't.
don't got to pull any punches, bro.
No. Okay. Why don't you believe in a deity?
Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't hear you.
why don't you believe in a deity?
Oh, I have yet to see the burden of proof being met for the existence of any deity out there, and so I'm simply unconvinced until there's sufficient evidence.
Have you heard arguments?
Yeah, I've heard a few arguments.
What arguments have you heard?
I've heard the fine tuning. I've heard the ontological argument. I've heard the argument for motion. But we have the the Kalam cosmological argument.
Okay, so are you
Can you hear me?
are you good in like
Okay.
metaphysics and stuff?
You said, "Am I good with metaphysics?"
Yeah.
Not really, but I don't think that the God you believe in is a metaphysical entity.
What?
So, yeah,
Doesn't
because metaphysics deals with the immaterial, correct?
I mean it's just the like the study of being, but okay. So
I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding it. Is that not what metaphysics is about? Does it not deal with the immaterial?
I mean I was just asking like if you have like a grasp on the concepts that was going into like the conversations that we're gonna have. So we could just do something that you're familiar with. Cause I was gonna run a different argument, but we'll just do something that you're familiar with. We'll just do the
Can we
argument.
do Can we talk about the resurrection?
Nah, I'd rather just talk about the argument for the existence of God.
Why don't you want to talk about the resurrection? Because that's the
Because if
pinnacle of your faith. Without the
yeah, I know
resurrection, Christianity is not true.
that yeah, 100%. But the
Yeah,
reason
so
as
let's
to
talk
why
about
the
it.
resurrection is possible is because of God exists. If God doesn't exist, then the resurrection would not be possible. It'd be bound by nomological laws.
Okay.
So
So you
if
want
you
to take me through
so
the
if
process
you
of being convinced that God exists, and then you want to walk me from God exists to therefore Christianity is true
I
because
mean
God can do these things.
if you want, yeah, we could do that.
That's the approach that you're trying to take. I
I
mean, we
mean you
can.
have I mean you
It's
have
going to be
yeah.
a long and tedious one, but it's fine. We can go through it. I don't mind.
Oh, is it going to be worth it? Like if we could go to show that, like, say for instance, the argument for motion follows, would you believe that a God exists, or would you still just object?
I just don't find those arguments to be convincing.
What about all right here? What about the argument for
I
motion? Don't you
prefer
find convincing?
I prefer I would prefer more of like I guess like something tangible, something where like if your God does exist, he would be able to reveal himself to me in a way that I would know that he's real. I don't think that
I
we
mean,
need
if I
to
could take
hold
you through a
arguments.
logical demonstration that God exists, and you still won't want to accept that, then like, what is God going to do for you?
I just don't see the reason for why we have to rely on arguments to prove that someone exists. If someone exists, you should just be able to show evidence.
Like a logical argument.
No, I said you should be able to just to show evidence. It doesn't always require a logical argument.
I mean, like I can logically conclude that you're mortal, right? By like the evidence that you're a man. So like, oh, all men are mortal. Dark Knight is a man, therefore Dark Knight is mortal. That's evidence to
Sure.
prove that you're mortal, right? But that's just a
Sure, but we're
logical
talking about the
argument.
existence of a person.
I'm talking about the existence of your mortality.
Yeah, but we're talking about the existence of a person.
Yeah, but
So
you see how I was able to just prove that you're mortal.
yeah, based off the argument that you ran on me, sure.
Exactly. So from the if you're just gonna deny an argument. I don't know what God is gonna like. What miracle is God gonna do for you if you're just gonna deny basic
Is that the
logic?
only way for God to convince someone that he's real
No,
is
it's
to
not
deny
the
his
only way.
arguments? No, okay. What other ways can God do to convince someone that he exists outside of logical argument?
Tons
Yeah,
of
name one.
ways.
Just
Tons of
name
ways.
some.
Yeah, one of the ways is that he could help people create TikToks, and then people like Dark Knight could come and ask questions about the existence of
Okay.
said God, and he could talk to other people that God has created to bring him to the
Here,
existence of
let,
God.
let me let me rephrase my
That
question.
that's one
According
way.
according to the Bible, how did God make himself known to people that he exists?
It depends on the person.
Just anyone, just choose anyone you want.
Choose anybody.
Yeah, anyone in scripture. Anyone that was a non-believer and that then became a believer. How did he choose to manifest himself to them to reveal that he was real? Was it through
Uh,
logical arguments or was it through something else?
no, it's just like for some people, it's just through witness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay, so if God can manifest himself in a way where people are witnessing uh his existence, or I guess they're witnessing
yeah. So
his manifestation in
I would
reality.
choose the people in Acts chapter 2 who.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. The Bible does, that's what I'm saying. So the Bible does depict that God has physically manifested himself to people
No,
on
I'm
earth.
saying that these people, when I say witness, I'm saying there were people who just heard a person preach about what they saw and what they experienced, and then they believed.
Oh, you're talking about the day of Pentecost.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but that was still physical, or that was still a supernatural manifestation. That was the Holy Spirit coming down and filling them.
Filling the
The
apostles.
disciples, yeah.
Yeah, but for them, they just heard. And then you go throughout the rest of the book of Acts where these people then convert just by hearing.
But that was a miracle, right? Because they were speaking in tongues, and the languages that they were speaking
Yeah.
were of all the people that were there.
After that, people just hear and believe, like the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts
Yeah,
chapter
but
10.
that would still, would you consider that a miracle?
No, not the Ethiopian eunuch.
No, not the Ethiopian eunuch, the people on the day of Pentecost in your example from Acts 2.
I mean, they're the apostles are experiencing a miracle. Yeah.
No, the also the people that were there, not just the apostles,
Like, are
the
they
people that
witnessing? Yeah, I
yeah,
can
the
say that they're
witnesses.
witnessing a miracle.
Yeah, so was that miracle, I'm sorry. Was that miracle the reason for why they believed that God is real?
I don't know.
Or well, they were convinced of the truth of Christianity? Maybe that's a better way to frame
They're
it.
yeah, they're convinced of the truth of Christianity. Like the Ethiopian
Okay,
eunuch though doesn't
sure,
receive a miracle, is just witnessed to by an apostle and then believes.
sure. So if some people can be convinced that Christianity is true through miracles, why is it far fetched for me to say I want to see a miracle happen
Everyone
before?
is not convinced by miracles though.
Sure, but is it far fetched for me to say that's the criteria that I have?
No, you sound just like the Pharisees at the time of Christ that wanted a miracle at their time. They wanted specific miracles. But like, if you don't already believe the things that you already have access to, then why would a miracle be beneficial? It's like the dude, the rich man and Lazarus who was in hell, and he says, "Hey, go back to my family and tell them." And Abraham flat up says, like, if they have the prophets. If they don't believe them, they're not going to believe, even if somebody comes back from the dead. So, like, if you have the things accessible to you in order to believe, and you're still asking for something more, the Bible explicitly talks about people like that they're not going to believe, even if the things extra are shown to them.
But that depends on the condition of their heart.
Yeah. So
You
I can
agree?
tell. So let's figure out the condition of your heart.
Yeah.
If we go
So
through
so if
if we go
I'm
through a
open
logical
minded,
argument, I'm saying that if we go through a
you don't have
logic,
to walk me through a logical argument to determine the condition of my heart. All I have to tell you is that I'm a skeptic and I'm open minded to the idea that God exists. And if you can give me evidence that God is real, then I'd be
so an
convinced.
argument would be evidence of that. The same way I
I don't
just
think an
provided
argument is,
evidence that you're mortal because you're a human.
but I have a very specific criteria of evidence I'm looking for. I don't think logical arguments are going to convince me because I have yet to be convinced by the ones that have been
So
given.
you say this is what you're saying. Even
Yeah.
if the logic follows, I would still deny the conclusion. Cool.
No, that's not
What's
what
the
I'm saying.
purpose of talking to
I'm
you?
saying that's not what I said.
Even
Now you're
if it
straw manning
logically,
me.
no,
That's a straw man. That's
you're
not what I
saying
said.
I don't think a logical argument will be able to convince me, right? So if I'm saying you're saying that if I provided to you a logical argument, you would just deny the conclusion, or you wouldn't be convinced of the conclusion, even though it logically follows.
Yeah, so I'll just go
How are
ahead.
you
I'll
open-minded?
repeat it again. The logical arguments that you're more than likely going to provide, unless there's one I haven't heard, I have yet to be, I have yet to find compelling. I don't agree with any of the
Let me
premises that are
present the
presented
argument,
or
and then
given,
you tell me what's
and
wrong with it.
I just don't think it's worth the time. I'm not interested.
Okay. Well,
Name the argument.
that's
Name the argument that you're going to bring
cool.
up. Name the
There you go.
argument.
The
What's the argument?
argument from motion.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't like it.
What about it?
I'm not interested in it.
What about it?
I don't think you can justify P1. But how do you lay it out? Can you give me
I
an
can't
syllogism?
justify P1?
Yeah. How do you give me P1?
No. You already said I can't justify
I
P1.
said I don't think you can, but maybe you have a different way of how you run the argument. So
P1 is
how
change
do you run the
exists.
argument? Sorry?
Change exists.
Change exists.
Can't justify that though.
What do you mean by change?
The actualization of potential.
Okay.
Can't justify that?
Yeah, so I think if we investigate, because all we know right now is what the observable universe has to, like, from what we can tell based off of our limited perception of reality. We don't know everything about the universe, and so we're limited in our view. So we don't know if things are different elsewhere, and so I can't confidently agree with your position.
Oh, you can't confidently agree that change exists?
Yeah. No, I can agree change exists based off of what we're experiencing now within our reality.
Cool.
But we don't know if things have always existed.
All I said was change exists, bro. What are you talking about? Things have always existed.
Yeah, so like,
what are you talking about, bro?
If the universe is eternal.
So what premise do you disagree?
If the universe is eternal, it wouldn't go from one point to another. It would just always be.
If this argument, you can hold that the universe is eternal or not eternal, had a beginning. It doesn't change the argument. Because the people who put together the argument don't believe that you could prove from pure reason that the universe had a beginning. So they didn't base their argument as to whether or not the universe began.
Okay, can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry.
The people who put together this argument did not believe, did not believe that you can prove from pure reason that the universe had a beginning. So this argument does not depend on the universe having a beginning or not having a beginning. Doesn't matter. You could hold whatever view you want. Doesn't change anything.
So would you agree that we can't observe, or we haven't observed everything within our universe? And when I say universe, I'm not talking about the observable universe. I'm just saying everything in existence.
It has nothing to do with anything, bro.
I don't understand how it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Because you said here. This is why. Tell me how this matters, right? You said the thing you don't like about the argument for motion is that you don't like P1. You don't think you can justify P1. I said P1 is that change exists. You're talking about the beginning of the universe. What does that have to do with P1?
No, I agreed. I said in the observable universe. Within the observable universe, change does exist.
So, okay,
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah.
So change
I'm saying, but I'm also saying, as a caveat, I'm saying we haven't observed everything within reality, so we don't necessarily know if that's true in all cases within reality itself. But I agree.
The P1 isn't even that change exists in all cases. It's just that change exists.
Yeah, I've already agreed with that. Sure.
Okay, so you don't have a problem with P1.
If you run it that way, I don't.
What? Tell me what premise you actually disagree with. What was it that you heard? What was the premise you disagreed with?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it again?
What was the premise you disagreed with?
What, the argument for motion?
Yes.
I think it was the chain of causation, if I'm not mistaken.
What about it?
So I think it was, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, but the chain of causation is about the idea that nothing can move itself.
That nothing can change itself? No potential can actualize itself?
No, I'm asking you, is that, because I'm trying to remember, is that
here? So I'll just run the argument.
Is that the correct premise here? Our
Uh,
premise,
I mean,
or would you disagree with that?
it depends. So change exists, and change is the actualization of potential, which you agreed with. A potential cannot actualize itself. Therefore, whatever changes is changed by something else that's already
Wait, hold
actual.
on. Let me write down. Let me write this down real quick. So now I want to clarify some terms here.
Okay.
Okay, can you restate premise two?
Um, change exists, and change is the actualization of potential, but a potential cannot actualize itself.
A potential cannot. Let's see. Potential cannot actualize itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how are you defining potential?
The capacity of a thing or what something could be
Potential is capacity of a thing,
or what something could be.
or what something could be. Okay. And how are you defining actualization?
Yeah, actualization it would be what something is,
Actualization.
or actualization is the process. Like if you're saying actualization, that's the process as to which something is. Actual is just going to be referring to what something is. To actualize would be to reduce the potency in something to act.
I'm just talking about the way you're running it in P2. So actualization.
Yeah,
And
potential
you're
can't actualize itself.
a
That
potential
means
can
that a
actualize.
thing that's in potential cannot reduce itself to actual, or something that could be cannot make itself what it is.
Okay.
Are you fine with that? You ready to go?
I might have to have you repeat it at the very beginning because I wrote down a potential cannot actualize itself. Then I asked you to clarify what you mean by
Yeah.
potential.
So the first thing is
I,
just that change exists. That's the first.
yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah. I
first
have
part.
that down. Yeah.
Okay. And by change we mean things go from potential to actual. But a potential can't actualize itself. Only something already actual can bring about actuality. Therefore, whatever changes is actualized by something else.
Okay.
Is that fine? Can we keep going?
Whatever changes. Okay. Let's go to P3. Or is go ahead.
P3 is going to be like, that's going to be like the first conclusion, a therefore statement.
Oh, you're running a conclusion. Okay. Go ahead. What's the conclusion?
Therefore, whatever changes is actualized by something else. That's P3, or like the conclude that first minor conclusion.
Therefore, whatever changes is actualized by what?
Something else.
Something else. Okay. By something else. Okay.
Are you cool?
That's P3. You said the conclusion to P3. Okay. You can keep going. I'm writing them down.
Are you disagreeing with anything so far? Do you need me to explain anything?
I'll just listen. I'll write them down and I'll go back over them.
All right, bro.
I mean,
So
if you don't want to, you don't have to. You did
yeah,
ask me if you want to argument.
trust me. I know you don't want to hear this argument. I can tell. So I'm going to
If
give you
I,
this
I mean,
argument.
I've already told you.
You gonna get this argument, bro.
I've already told you at the beginning.
Don't
I
even
don't think
trip,
it's
bro.
going to
You
lead
are
to therefore
going to get this
Christianity is
argument,
true.
bro. Don't trip. You're
Like
going to get this
even if
argument.
you run all of these logical arguments, they never get to Christianity is true.
Cool.
Jesus resurrected
You are
from the
going
dead,
to get this
which is
argument.
why
That's
you
cool.
ran away. You ran away from the resurrection topic.
No one ran away, bro. I said
You
we should
did.
start where you're supposed to start.
You did.
So, do you have? I would rather you tell me if you have any problems with the primacy so far.
Yeah. So I do. We can go over that.
Okay. What's your problem?
Yeah. Let's go back up. Okay. So in P3, therefore, whatever is actualized is by something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't understand. I guess can you clarify that for a second then?
It follows from P1 and P2. the conclusion just necessarily follows.
A potential cannot actualize itself. Okay.
Yeah, so if change exists, and by
Change
change,
exists.
yeah, so
Change
change
exists.
exists and change is the actualization of potential, but a potential cannot actualize itself. Only something actual can bring about actuality. Therefore, whatever changes is changed by something else. So the conclusion just necessarily follows. So you would have to have a problem with either P1 or P2.
Okay. No, actually, yeah. We're good then. I agree.
Okay.
I would agree. Yeah. We're straight.
Therefore, this leads to a chain of actualizers, each depending on something else to cause its change right now.
Actualizers. I'm gonna need you to define that for me.
Okay, so when I say this leads to a chain of actualizers, each depending on something else to cause its change here and now. When I say actualizers, I'm referring to that thing that is actual, that is reducing the potency in another thing. So, for example, if I put a pot of cold water on a stove and then it becomes hot, the fire is its actualizer. The fire is the thing that's actual, that's hot, that gives the water its actuality of being hot.
Sure. That's fine.
So that's what you mean by a chain of actualizers. It's
Sure.
the thing that's
fine.
reducing the potency and the thing next to it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. An infinite chain of such actualizers is impossible because without a first actualizer, nothing could be actualized.
An infinite chain. Let me write this down.
An infinite chain of such actualizers is impossible because without a first actualizer, nothing could be actualized.
Infinite chain
Of such actualizers is impossible.
is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what's after?
Because without a first actualizer, nothing could be actualized.
Nothing could be actualized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you have any problems so far?
Yeah, I don't know how we would get to the idea that this was impossible. Because once again, we haven't observed all of reality, which is what I said earlier. So we don't necessarily know if it would be impossible because you would have to therefore investigate every crevice within the universe to determine that's true. And no one has done that.
For this, right? The type of series that we're talking about is going to be like a per se causal series, right? So I can explain what that is, but I could just give you an analogy. You could think of it. I mean, we'll see if this analogy works. If it doesn't, I'll just flip to another one. But if I show you my phone, right, and I have my phone plugged into an extension cord that's not plugged into the wall, will my phone be charged?
No.
What if I plug another extension cord that's not plugged into the wall? Will it be charged?
If you plug into no.
All right. What if I do that infinitely? Will my phone be charged?
Infinitely? I don't know. I don't even know what that means. If you
Like
do
I
it,
just
like
keep,
if you
I
plug
just
it in
keep, I
infinite,
just
if you're
keep
plugging
plugging
in
in.
infinite,
Yeah, I just keep plugging in an infinite amount of extension cords that's not plugged into a wall.
okay, so if you keep plugging in an infinite amount of extension cords, it's not plugged into a wall.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean like the power cord is plugged into your phone, but it's not plugged into the wall?
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I guess it doesn't really make sense to me
I'll show you a picture.
because it seems like I guess I just can't process that in my mind.
Don't worry, I have an image.
Yeah, that's fine.
So here, right? If I plug my phone in to an extension cord that's plugged into an extension cord, and I keep doing that, extension cord, extension cord, extension cord, I keep doing it, right? Over and over and over again, will my phone be charged? It's never plugged into a wall.
If it's never plugged into a wall, according to the picture, I'd have to say no.
Okay, right? But I see that my phone is charged. I see this long line of extension cords, but I see my phone is charged. What does that mean?
You mean your phone is charging or it's already charged?
It's charging, like what you see in the image.
But that's not what you said earlier.
I apologize.
Okay,
It's
so
charging.
were you mistaken or were you being dishonest? Because you said charged, not charging.
I was mistaken.
Okay. So to rerun the argument, you're saying, would your phone be charging if it wasn't plugged into a wall?
Yes.
It could charge without it being plugged into a wall, but in this specific case, if there's 4 or 5, obviously not.
So if I hold on. So if I do just do this infinitely, it would start charging?
I don't even think that makes any sense.
What doesn't make sense? You just answered it before it made sense just a second ago. What doesn't make sense now?
Because you're saying that at the end, your conclusion was the phone would be charging.
No, I said, but, right? So if this went on forever like this, it would not be charging. But I see that my phone is charging. Therefore, I can conclude, or I can say that there must be a power source or a first thing in the chain. That's it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So then the first thing that you're assuming here would be God, correct?
Haven't even said those words.
But that's the end of the argument.
No, that's not the end. That's not the end.
That's not the conclusion to the argument that God exists.
That's not the end to this part right here. No. So I helped you understand the premise that you had a problem with an infinite chain of such actualizers being impossible. Because the type of chain that we're talking about is going to be a lot like the extension cords. So if you understand that that can't go on infinitely, but has to terminate in something that actually has power, then you understand that this type of chain can't go on infinitely. So it's finite. So it terminates in a first. That's it. That's all. That's all that's being said right now.
Okay, so I remain I've said this many times. I remain agnostic when it comes to this idea of the infinite universe. So I'm not
talking about an infinite universe.
Well, we're
talking about right now. We're talking about hold on,
infinite causal chain.
We're talking about right now, right?
Are you not talking about an infinite conference? But let me go back and look at this real quick because I wrote this shit down. Yeah, you said an infinite chain of such actualizers is impossible because without a first
read the premise before that.
Nothing could be actualized.
Read the premise before that.
Therefore, whatever is actualized is by something else.
No. This leads to a chain of actualizers.
Yeah.
What does it say? You wrote it down. This leads to a chain of actualizers. I stopped. I took my time. Come on, it's right there. It's on the thing that you wrote it down. It's right there.
The last thing I wrote down was an infinite chain of such actualizers.
Okay, so the one before
and then the thing before that is the thing that is is reducing the potency.
So you're not even writing down the premises like together. You just like fitting them in there.
No. They're written down, but I think that I might have missed that one. Then maybe I didn't write the correct one.
So P4. Right, you wrote down 1, 2, 3, then skip to 5 for some reason.
Yeah, I think I might have missed 4.
Okay, so are you? Let me not be an asshole. So P4 is this leads to a chain of actualizers, each depending on something else to cause its change in the here and now. We're talking about right now. Mark caught it.
This leads to a chain of actualizers, which leads to. What does that mean? Which leads to
This leads to a chain of actualizers, each depending on something else to cause its actualization here and now.
On
So
its
you see how
actualization.
we're not talking about past events, but we're talking about right now, the sustaining thing, the thing that sustains everything right now. What's sustaining my phone to be charging right now? And it's that it's connected to a power source. That power source then gives actualizes the potential of the extension cords in between the phone and the power source.
Okay.
Without that power source, my phone would not be charging. But my phone is charging. Does it make sense now?
Your phone is charging because it's plugged in.
Exactly. Cool.
Yeah,
So
that's what I said earlier. I
so
said if
when
it was plugged in, then it would be charging.
okay, so what this argument is saying is that an infinite chain of such actualizers is impossible because without a first actualizer, like the power source in the analogy, nothing could be actualized, which means that nothing would change. But change does occur. Therefore, it must terminate in a first actualizer.
Okay.
Okay. This first actualizer
Yeah.
must have no potential. That's a term that we would call purely actual or pure actuality or pure act, which means
So
that
potential equals pure act or pure
no,
action.
having no potential or
Having
no
no potential.
passive potency. That's what we mean by no potential. Having no potential to be changed is what we mean by it's what the first actualizer is. It's purely actual or pure act. That means that it can't be changed by anything else. A being that is so. Do you have a problem with that?
It can't be changed. No, go ahead.
So no problem.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So we show that whatever this first thing is purely actual. A being that is purely actual is what we mean by God. Therefore, God exists.
Actual. So a being that is purely actual is what you mean by God.
Therefore, God exists. Because we just showed that this purely actual being exists.
Actual. Okay. Wait, being that purely actual is God, therefore God exists. Okay. That's the conclusion
Of the entire, of the
argument. Okay. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That so I think my issue is because obviously if I agreed to the premises, then the conclusion would also be something that I would have to accept, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think
You
I
just
don't
hold on. You
I
just
don't
accepted all the premises.
no, but hold on. So all I'm gonna say is I don't necessarily see how it has to be the specific deity Yahweh.
We're not even talking about that right now.
Because
Right now, brother.
I could say that this thing that we're referring to would just simply be the universe.
Cool. So
Yeah.
does the universe change?
Does the universe change? I just told you the observable universe, from what we can see, has changed, but that we haven't investigated everything within the universe outside of the observable universe.
That's fine.
So we don't know.
If you just said that the universe changes, then it's
The
not
observable universe.
So there's an observable part of the universe that changes?
Yes.
Cool.
But there's things that we cannot observe.
Cool.
There's things that we cannot observe, so we can't conclude that there has been change that's occurred in the things that we cannot observe.
Nice. That's what's up. So if a part of the universe changes, it is not the purely actual being.
Yeah. So the problem is before this expansion started, we don't.
Here's another thing.
I'm just gonna finish my statement.
My fault.
Before the expansion started, we don't know what state anything was in, And so that's another mystery that I just don't know about. Like
That
we don't know.
doesn't change the argument. If you're saying that it started, if you're saying that it expands, those are all changes. That's change in location, that's change in action. Like these are all things that they're changes. It's a reduction of potential to actuality. But if you're saying that there is a part of the universe, which you know as the observable universe, and then there's this other part of the universe that is the unobservable universe, this purely actual being would not have parts. It's not composite because parts imply potential.
What do
This
you
being
mean by
doesn't have
what do you mean
potential.
by what do you mean by parts?
You're saying that there's a part of the universe that is
No,
observable,
no. You said this being wouldn't have parts. What do you mean by that?
that it wouldn't be composite, it wouldn't be composed, it wouldn't have parts.
It wouldn't be composed?
Yes.
And what do you mean by composed?
Having parts
Wait, that's
put
circular.
together. I mean, you asked, what do you mean by having parts? And I was saying composed.
Can you give an example, like within reality, of what that would look like?
Yes.
In regards to the being that you
This
follow, not like,
Vaseline is composed of parts, namely a lid and the plastic on the outside. It's
so your
composed.
so your God doesn't have
parts,
like material.
It wouldn't be material either.
Yeah, well, that I reject that too.
You reject what?
That your God is an immaterial being. I said that earlier.
A purely actual being is immaterial.
He's not the Christian God.
No one brung Christian up, buddy.
But this is the conclusion. Remember, Christianity is true. That's the God you're trying to demonstrate.
Yeah, right now.
You're not here to argue.
Now, I need
you're
you
not
to
here to argue
right
for
now,
a random God that you don't believe in. You're here to argue for the Christian God.
Dark Knight. Right now,
the God you're arguing for is not the God you believe in. It's not the God that's not the God of the Bible.
That's what you say. But right now, I need you to lock in on now you believe that a God exists.
No, I've already explained that.
Do you disagree with any of the premises?
I said that prior, even the whole concept of prior to the Big Bang is something that's mysterious to us. And so I don't know what state the universe was in, if it was even in a state.
Hey.
And so based off of what we can tell so far with the tools that we've created to measure the existence of the observable universe, yes, change occurred. It went from a singularity to an expansion, and the expansion is what we're going through right now. And so we haven't observed the unobservable universe, and so I cannot confidently say, yeah, everything in the universe was at a state of change.
That's not the argument.
So
that's not the argument. The argument is that a purely actual being exists. If the universe is not this purely actual being that does not change, then you could believe whatever you want about the universe. It's not this thing that we're talking about. So you're up here talking about something that we are not talking about. You already agreed that the universe changed. It's made of parts. It had a start or whatever.
Yeah, I need you to say observable universe because you're conflating.
Okay, cool. The observable universe. So you're talking about the part of the universe that's observable. It's made of parts. So that means there's a part of the universe that's observable and a part of the universe that's not observable. It's composed.
Sure, and you're saying the
purely actual
being is not made of parts, and exactly. I disagree with that.
So here's the argument for that, right? Because we're talking about this purely actual being. Okay? So if it were material, it would be composed of form and matter, which entails potentiality, because parts can be rearranged.
Do clouds
change size?
Do clouds fit that criteria?
Yes. Okay.
So when I go to the Bible, I shouldn't find a part where it says that the clouds were the demonstration of the presence of Yahweh.
No one's talking about the Bible right now, buddy.
But that's the God you believe in.
Hey, we're talking.
This is
right
why I'm
now,
saying you're arguing
right
for the
now,
existence of a God that's not the God that you believe in. That's not the God you worship.
Hey, I'm so cool with you believing that right now. Right now, I need you to focus. Okay,
I need you to be honest.
Because you came up here.
I need you to stop being dishonest.
You came up here and you said that you want God to reveal Himself to you. And you said, Elijah, "What? Hold on, wait. Let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought. You said, what are the ways in which God could reveal Himself to somebody? I said, I don't know. He could help somebody make an app. maybe call it TikTok. Have one of his people come up, and you can go up and actually talk to these people to show you that this God exists. Now, this miracle is happening, and all of a sudden, you don't want to believe that God exists.
Yeah. So
We
remember,
talk-
what did I say after that, Elijah?
We're talking, we just, all right
Wait,
now,
what was my question
all
after
we
that?
talking about is God or a
Elijah,
purely actual being
Elijah,
exists.
what was my question after that?
Are there other ways that God could reveal himself to you? That was your
That's
next
not
question.
that wasn't my other question.
That
No,
was your
my
next
other
question.
question was I said let me specify. I said, did God only reveal himself in the scriptures through logical arguments? And you said no.
Yeah.
And then we agreed that there was times where the God that you believed in performed some miraculous event
And
which
then
convinced
I
people that he
also
existed.
showed that there are times where people just heard the
Yeah.
argument. Yeah.
And so
now,
all I told
now
you,
you're one
and
of
so
those
what I'm
people.
saying,
Hold on. Now you're one of those people that are hearing the argument. So if this being were material, it would be composed of form and matter, which entails potentiality. But this being doesn't have any potential, so it is immaterial.
yeah, but do you not see how you're being dishonest here?
How am I being dishonest?
Because remember, this conversation started with the prompt Christianity is true. The argument that you're running is eventually supposed to lead to the Christian God being real, correct? Okay.
Dude, hold on, wait,
why,
dude.
so what?
Oh,
Wait.
wait.
So
Do
now, wait, you
Christians?
said yes. You said
Yeah,
yes earlier.
yeah.
I asked you. You said no.
No. Do
So do
Christians?
you
Hold on,
not
wait. Do
see how
Christians believe
you're
that
being
God is
dishonest,
Do Christians
Elijah?
believe that God is material?
They do. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Christians believe that God is material.
Yeah, for sure. Some of them do. You may not
Who?
agree with them, but some of them do.
Apostolic Christians.
Do you think all Christians agree with you?
Apostolic Christians.
I'm not sure about apostolic Christians, but do you think all Christians agree with you?
So that which Christianity taught for the past 1800,
Yeah. So Elijah,
1900
do
years.
all Christians agree?
Do all Christians agree on what? That God is immaterial?
That God is immaterial.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So every single denomination, 40,000 people in a denomination.
40,000 people under a
40,000 denominations.
There's 40,000. Where do you get 40,000 denominations from?
Just look it up. It's online.
Where? It doesn't even matter.
How many Christian denominations exist?
If you believe that God is like physical or something, you're not a Christian.
Well, here's the problem. So you thinking that God is not physical is just post hoc, because when you actually read the Hebrew Bible, it's quite clear that the God was a physical being. Even under the teachings of the New Testament, he is a physical being. For example, with Stephen the martyr, what did Stephen the martyr see when he was being persecuted, when he was being stoned to death?
An energy of God.
He saw Jesus, right? Right? Did he see Jesus?
Yeah, what does that have to do with anything?
Okay, who was Jesus standing next to?
What does that have to do with anything?
Who was Jesus standing next to? Who did he see? Look at you. You're afraid to answer the question.
I'm actually talking to my friend in the chat.
I'll just read I can read the scripture for you.
It's not going to change anything.
It is. Here, I'll just read it for you since you're afraid to read. It's fine.
I'm not afraid to read.
Okay, then let's read it.
Read it.
Cool. So it says right here, let me go to the part where he's martyred. Oh, the stoning of Stephen. Yeah. So it says right here, look, he said, I see the heavens opened and the Son of God standing at the right hand of God. Even before that, we can say, but the Spirit he was filled with the Holy Spirit. He gazed into heaven and saw the glory of God. Okay, cool. And Jesus standing at the right hand of God. Verse 56, look, he said, I see the heavens opened and the Son of Man, Jesus, standing at the right hand of God. So was he not witnessing a physical manifestation of God?
Yeah, that's not God in his essence. No Christian.
But that's still a physical manifestation of God.
Everyone believes that God could manifest himself physically. That's not his essence.
Okay, so if he's manifesting himself physically, is he taking on a material form?
Yeah, that's not a change in his essence. That's him.
But is he still God within a material manifestation?
The person, yes, is God.
Okay, cool.
So
case closed.
What the
Jesus.
Catholics would say, what the Catholics would say is that these things would be known as created effects. So
Are
like
you Catholic?
I'm looking into Catholicism and
But are you
Eastern
Catholic?
Orthodoxy.
Are you Catholic though?
I'm looking into the historical churches. So the way
But
in
you're
which
not
these things,
Catholic.
the way in
I don't
which
know why
these
you're
things
saying
would be
Catholic.
explained is that either it's a created effect, right? Like the same way in which the human nature in which
Mhm.
God subsists is not the divine nature. So we wouldn't look at the human nature and say that that's God.
We're not talking about the human
So
nature.
that's a
I'm
physical
not talking about
hold on.
Jesus. I'm not talking about Jesus.
That's a physical manifestation of God, right? Because that's a the human nature is created, and the one who subsists in the human nature is God.
Well, are you talking about the human nature in reference to Jesus and the
Yeah, so like
hypostatic union?
in John chapter 4, verse
That's not what I'm
24.
talking about. I'm
Okay,
not
so
talking
but
about
in
that.
John chapter
You're
4, but
you're
hey,
stop running from
here,
me. Stop running,
answer this, answer.
Elijah.
It's no one's running.
Elijah,
I'm literally
you're
answering your
running.
point.
I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm not talking about
I'm
him.
giving you an example. So
I
is
don't care. Deal
spirit,
with
hold
my
on, is
example in Acts
spirit
7.
material?
I deal with what I
I
told you in
am. Is
Acts 7.
spirit material?
Deal with Acts 7.
Is spirit material?
Elijah, are you going to deal with Acts 7 or are you going to run?
Yes. So
Okay.
when he
So I'm
sees
not talking about
what he
Jesus.
see, you just said that he saw Jesus.
No, I know that's what it says, but I'm saying he saw Jesus at the right hand of God.
Yeah,
So I'm asking you at
it's
the
called
right
a
hand of God.
manifestation. Is spirit material
So it's a manifestation,
and
right?
not his essence?
So a manifestation is a physical form, right?
Not his essence.
Is a manifestation a physical form?
Here, what do you think essence is?
Is a
Hold on, wait,
manifestation a physical form?
because I'm giving you an answer and it's like you're not understanding the answer.
I,
What do
I
you think
asked you
essence
another
is?
question. Can you just answer the question, please?
God can manifest physically. That
Is
doesn't mean that his
a
essence.
physical manifestation material?
Well, one, no, not all the time, but
All
but
right.
and when God shows himself, that doesn't mean that his essence is physical. That just means that God can manifest himself in a way in which people can see and understand.
Sure, but when he does that, is he still God?
Yes, obviously. That doesn't
Okay,
mean
so
that
then
now his.
God, so then by technicalities, God can physically manifest himself, which therefore means he's not an immaterial being, because an immaterial being would be
What's
someone that
the
you
what's
cannot
the
physically see.
what's the argument? That makes no sense.
Okay, so immaterial entities would be something that you cannot physically see with your eyes, correct?
An immaterial entity.
An immaterial being.
I mean, it doesn't mean that that being can't make itself manifest to you. No,
No, I'm saying it would the definition of immaterial. How are you defining immaterial then?
that is just it doesn't have matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
have
So
matter,
then that
right?
means
So it's
that. So
something
when you
that
here,
lacks
look, when you're
so
talking
something that
about
lacks physical form, right?
when you're talking about being, Jimmy, shut up. When you're talking about being, right? When you're talking about being, you're going to be talking about the nature of a thing or what a thing is. So you're going to be talking about its like essence. So if God decides to manifest itself in a certain form, that doesn't mean that his essence now changes. The same way that like I can manifest myself in a video game when I create a character, that doesn't mean that now I'm
No,
made of
you can't.
pixels.
No, you can't.
Oh my
That's
god.
the dumbest analogy I've heard in my entire life.
Oh my god.
You got to do better than that, bro. You manifested yourself in a video game, therefore that means you're
Okay, have you
pixels.
ever
Stop
seen
the argument that
have
I'm
you ever
running.
seen like Black Mirror?
No.
Oh my god. This is helpless. So when
So
I'm playing here,
immaterial, the way I'm defining immaterial is something that lacks
when
physical
I'm
form.
playing when I'm playing GTA and my brother is shooting at me, right? Is he shooting at me?
My guy, obviously not.
Okay.
He's shooting at the character that you're playing in the video game.
Exactly. So the
But
way
that character is not like. Go ahead.
exactly. So
Yeah,
the
but
way
that's the problem though,
so
right? You're not here's the difference
that's
though.
the
You're
point.
not
Hold on,
no,
that's
but
the
that's not the
point.
point though.
That's
That's
the
not the point
point.
though. So what's
That's the
happening
whole
here?
point.
Yeah, Elijah. So here, let me go ahead and show you why this is a bad comparison. So what's happening in the video game analogy would be if you were to actually go into the video game world itself and take on a form within the video game world.
And stop being human.
That's not the same
Wait,
thing.
and stop. And wait, hold on. And stop being human.
That's not the same.
Oh wait, are you saying going to the video?
Done.
Wait,
I will answer your
I'm
question
asking a
after I
clarifying
finish.
question. You're saying
I'm
going
not
to the
done.
video game and stop being human. So now,
Yeah, I'm saying. That,
wait, did
no,
you just say yes?
I didn't say yes.
I'm asking a clarifying question to your analogy. Are you saying when I go into the video game, I stop being human?
Oh my gosh, dude. If you would let me to finish, I would get that.
Bro,
so all
I just need that clarifying thing. Please just answer that question. Just answer that before you. Why would you continue an analogy that I'm unsure of your terms?
Your analogy is not
analogous. Your analogy. This is your analogy. You're breaking down.
You brought up the video game world.
You're saying that if I go into the, you're saying that if I go into this video game, you're saying that if I go into this video game, do I stop being human?
What I'm saying is, if you left this world and went into the video game world, that would be a better comparison to what we're doing here.
Yeah, no one believes that about manifestations of God. No one.
I'm sorry?
No one believes that about manifestations of God.
That God doesn't come down from heaven?
Yeah, so what you just explained, leaving his... No one believes that about God. I don't know.
That's
I don't know what God. I don't know
right?
what God you're talking about.
I don't believe that the God you worship is all omnipresent.
I don't
think he's omnipresent.
No one believes that God like leaves any place. No.
Well, how do you know that though? Have you talked to everyone that believes in God?
You're not a Christian. These things are outlined in Christian doctrine.
So once again, you're just lying again. You're saying no one believes that, but you haven't spoken to every believer.
You're not a Christian.
It does no. You don't have to. Okay, even if you're not a Christian, there's Jewish people that still believe that.
What does that have to do with Christians?
It's the same God. You believe it's the same God.
Hey,
right?
Some church fathers call it a synagogue of Satan.
Do you not think it's the same God?
So I'm just saying that some church fathers call it a synagogue of Satan. Right?
Yeah, well, the church fathers were just trying to culturally appropriate Judaism, so of course they would say something bad about that.
What are you talking about? So if you
the church fathers, the early apostles of the church, they're just culture vultures.
Dark Knight, cool, that's great. So what you're saying about Christianity isn't what Christians believe. So what Christians actually believe is that God is immaterial. Now,
yeah, but once again, you haven't spoken to every single Christian.
That's fine. This purely actual being.
So how can you say
actual being,
Elijah? How can you say
this purely actual being is immaterial? Okay.
Yeah. So Elijah, how can you say that?
Even if you don't know everything that you want to know about the universe wouldn't be this purely actual existence because the universe is material. It
Elijah,
would not be composed.
Have you spoken to every Christian on the planet?
Brother, that does not matter.
You haven't. It does matter because you said no Christian believes that God is immaterial.
No, what matters is that what apostolic Christians believe.
Answering these kinds of questions because it exposes the
thing that matters is that this purely actual being is immaterial. The universe is material, therefore the universe is not
I disagree with you.
So you believe that the universe is
I disagree
is
that your God is not an I disagree that your God
is not
an immaterial being.
That's fine. Right now,
it's not
I don't care about that.
It's not fine.
So after we get done with the attributes of this purely actual being, then we can run to whatever you want to run to. But right now, I need you to focus on this purely actual being.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so this purely actual being is
and you're talking about it's not made of parts.
Okay, so it's not the universe.
That's the God you're
right?
arguing for. It's not the Christian God.
Okay, cool. So you believe
I'm not interested.
That's
because the background says Christianity is true, not the God that you created is true.
So now you believe in a God. You just don't believe in the Christian God.
I just told you that I rejected.
You reject the conclusion?
I rejected earlier.
You just reject the conclusion?
I've already explained this to you earlier.
What are you rejecting?
Like why do we need to go back to this?
What are you rejecting?
I've already explained this.
What are you rejecting?
Did you forget my answer?
If a purely actual being is what we mean
Elijah,
by God, therefore God exists. You're saying that
explain?
You're saying hold on. You're saying that this God is not the Christian God. But it is a God. So do you just believe in this
Yeah, in the
God
way that
and not
in
the
the way
Christian
that
God?
you're running the argument, you're running an argument to prove the existence of a God. And I'm
Cool.
saying this is not the God that you believe in. And so I asked you to give me an argument that proves the Christian God exists. And instead of doing that, you ran some randomized argument that doesn't prove the Christian God actually does exist.
No, we
Which is why I
could
said it's a
continue
waste of time.
going. We can
Remember, at
continue
the beginning
going.
of the conversation, I said this is
That
going to be a
we could
waste of time
continue
because
going, but that doesn't matter
this
because
is exactly what I predicted what was going to
when
happen.
you came up, you wanted to argue the resurrection. I said that it would be better if we start at the existence of God.
No, but
You
remember,
were
I
dangerously
remember, but
terrified.
what did I
Hold
say?
on. You
But
were
what?
dangerously terrified of getting into
No,
an argument for the existence of God. Now we get into the argument for the existence of God. You agree with all the premises, therefore the conclusion necessarily follows. So now you agree that God exists. You just have a problem with it being the Christian God.
no, I paused. I literally just said, maybe you're not listening. I said, what's wrong with me saying that the universe could potentially be eternal? I said, we don't know what the state of the world, or I guess existence, was prior to what we can observe through the scientific methods that we have used to
Dark Knight.
view the
Dark
situation.
Knight, do you remember one of the first things I said is that you could believe that the universe is eternal, it doesn't matter?
I do remember you saying that.
Okay, so why are you bringing that up
But
now as if that's a
so the
defeater
reason
to
why I'm
God
bringing that up,
existing?
the reason why I'm bringing that up is because once again, well, it's like I'm repeating myself, bro. Holy shit!
You said,
I
hold on,
don't know why.
wait. Dark
I don't know
Knight,
why.
tell me if
So
this is what you
I
said.
don't know why I have to answer
Dark
your
Knight,
questions, but when I
tell
ask
me
you
if this is
ones, you
what you
don't answer
said.
mine.
Tell me if this is what you said.
So
You said
Elijah,
the universe
can you
changes.
answer my questions
You
too?
said the universe started. You said there's a part of the universe that we know and a part that we don't know. All of these
Yeah,
things do not align with a purely actual being. Therefore, the universe is not this purely actual being.
that's not what I said.
Oh, you didn't say none of those three things?
I didn't say the universe isn't a purely actual being. Did those words come out of my mouth?
I'm saying from those three things that you're affirming, it then follows that it's not the purely actual being.
We don't know. That's what I said earlier. We don't know
A
because we only
purely
know what
actual
we
being,
don't know. We only know what we can observe.
a
We don't
purely
know. We
actual
don't know
being.
about the unobservable universe, so we have no idea. I've told you that 3 times.
Did I just give you an argument that the purely actual being is immaterial?
Oh my god!
That's a yes or no.
I've already answered the question.
Did I give you an argument that the
Like
purely
we've
actual being
already
is
gone over this,
immaterial?
Elijah. We've already gone over this.
Are you terrified?
I'm not terrified.
Did I give you an
If I
argument
was
that
terrified,
the
I wouldn't be up
purely
here talking to
actual
you.
being is
Elijah,
immaterial?
we've already gone over this. You
Why are
already
you
know the answer.
afraid to answer
You
the
already
question?
know the answer to the question.
Did I give you an argument that the purely actual
Elijah,
being is
did
immaterial?
we not already talk about that?
It's a yes or no, bro.
Did we not already talk about that?
It's a yes or no.
Did we not already talk about that?
Sure. Can you refresh me
Sure.
on your
So then if we
answer?
already did,
I
then
don't
why do we
remember
have
your
to go over it
answer.
again?
Can you refresh
You
me on
just
your
said,
answer?
but you just said sure.
I remember going through the argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we
Oh,
went
so
through the
yes.
argument,
So
that
you
means
do
we talked
remember.
it. So if
Cool.
we went through the
Cool.
argument,
So now
Elijah,
you
hold
do
on.
remember the
Elijah,
argument.
so if
Now
we
you
went through
remember.
the
Cool.
argument, if we went through the
Cool. So
argument, that means that we already know the answer. We've already gone through this.
cool. So if the purely actual being is immaterial, then it's not the universe.
And I don't think the purely actual being is immaterial.
That doesn't even make any sense.
How
You have
so?
to disagree with a premise.
Because we've already established this.
Which
Dude.
premise do you
We've already
disagree
gone
with?
through this.
We
at the end. So you said, here, I still have the fucking notes, bro.
Which premise do you disagree with? If it
You're saying
were
a being that is
were
purely actual is God, therefore God exists. That was the conclusion. And then you mentioned that God is not made of parts.
Here's the argument. If it were material, if this being were material, it would be composed of form and matter, which entails potentiality. But this being does not.
And we've already listen, Elijah. We
But
don't
this
need to do this
being
because
does
I've
not
already
have potential.
Elijah,
So it is
we don't need to
immaterial.
run the same argument because I'm
Which
already aware of
premise
what you're
do you
saying.
disagree with?
The being that you're positing is a material entity.
Which premise do you disagree with?
Elijah, I've already talked to you about this.
So no. So just deny the conclusion. I don't think that this is the thing. No logic at all.
Did I ever say
Just
that?
running around.
Did I say that?
You're showing it.
Did I say it though?
You're showing it. All your
Did
actions
I
is
say that?
speaking for you.
Did I say that?
You cannot say it by choosing a premise that you
So,
disagree
so
with.
if I don't say what you think I'm saying, then like does that actually land?
What are you talking about?
Your conclusion that you have about me, is it an accurate conclusion if I'm not actually saying that?
Yes, it's an accurate
How
conclusion.
so? How so?
By your actions. If I run around smacking women, but I don't ever call myself an abuser, am I an abuser?
It's not even remotely close to what's
That's
happening.
literally, yes. I just took
No,
I
it's
just took
not.
the analogy to the extreme.
It's not though.
Yes, it is, because you're running around just saying that the purely actual being is material, even though I'm giving you an argument that it's immaterial. You're just saying no.
No, I'm not just saying no. I'm actually explaining why it's not immaterial.
The purely actual being that does not have any potential.
The purely
How is it
actual being
material?
is God, right?
How is it material?
Is the purely actual being God?
That's what we mean by God.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and I've already explained how it's not immaterial.
What premise do you disagree with?
I just told you that.
You didn't tell me a premise. Which premise do you disagree with?
Notice how you still didn't address the Father either. It's crazy.
Which premise do you disagree with?
I just told you.
Elijah,
Elijah,
this
you
is
said the
actually,
purely actual.
I'm bullying him at this point. I'm just up here just bullying. That is not even nice. I was trying to be nice.